Hi everyone and welcome to this tutorial about the brand new Insta360 GO Ultra, a new camera by Insta360. I've been tested this camera already for the last 2 weeks. I will show you in this video how to take a video, a photo, how to take a time lapse, a time shift. I will show you also some tricks how to get not wake during the night and still let the camera record a video or a Starlapse video, for instance. I will show you how to connect this camera to your phone, how to transfer the files to your phone, how you can share them with friends. And if you think this video is a true value for you, make sure to get this camera using the link provided in the video description below. You can also support my channel by buying the accessories or the power bank I use to charge this camera on the go. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure to leave a thumbs up in order to push the algorithm. Thank you very much. I will show you now the Insta360 GO Ultra from all sides. At the front you have the lens, a microphone, and an LED that lights up in red if you record something, in blue if the camera is just active. You can even change that front element of the lens if that gets broken at a certain point, depending on what you're trying to do with this camera. And there's also a different lens adapter, by the way, but I don't have that at the moment. Here at the rear, you can check out, these are the charging ports. And really important about this camera, that's why it got bigger, is this compartment here. So if I pull up this ledge here, beneath is a micro SD card. Finally, we don't need to decide beforehand how much storage we require. Here's a 512 gigabyte micro SD card inside. However, it's only a V30. I can recommend at least V60 in order to avoid long buffer times. With this micro SD card, you can record videos in 4K at 30 frames per second, more than 10 hours. There is a secret button which is kept behind the cover. So if I push here for about 2 seconds, the camera turns on and starts to record a video instantly. You have 2 flashing LEDs now in red that symbolizes that the camera is recording a video, one here and one at the top. You can disable the LEDs, for instance, for a time lapse, if you don't want to have that on your time lapse if the camera is set behind a window. But I will show you later on how this works. To stop that video, you need to push this button once again. At the moment, there are 2 ways to charge the camera. One way is to charge it using this adapter, which you can buy separately. So at one end, you got a USB-C cable, and this cable here reminds me of a charging cable from the Apple Watch. You can see those pins, which you can find also on the rear side of the camera, that clicks onto this cable here and charges your camera using a power bank, for instance, or your notebook. And it's quite sticky, so it doesn't fall off this cable. The other way is to use the action pod that comes with the Insta360 GO Ultra. You just need to place it right here, and that's it. To take out the camera out of the case, you need to push this lock button here, and then you can take it out. Make sure you don't go swimming using the action pod right here, because you don't have a cover for the USB-C port. If you take that in the swimming pool, your action pod is gone. Let's speak about the action pod very quick. As you can see here on the bottom side, you get an adapter to place this action pod, for instance, on a tripod or on a selfie stick. You need these 2 hooks here. Then on the side you can charge the camera and the action pod using USB-C. A cable was included, by the way. And on this side you got 2 bottoms. If you push the upper button for about a second, the camera turns on instantly. And then you got a different button right here. If you push this for a short amount of time, you can switch between all modes if you got wet hands. Let me jump into video mode, and if I want to record a video now, I need to push this button, and if I want to stop this video, I need to push this button again. Let's start with the camera itself. We are now in a video mode, which you can see because we've used that icon right here. We're recording at the moment in 4K with 25 frames per second. There's also a digital zoom. If I tap on this icon here, the camera zooms in at 2x, and here you can see an example how the video quality looks like. we can change the field of view by using this icon right here. And if you scroll down, you have also the 360-degree lock, the 45-degree lock. You can use dewarp, linear, ultra, mega, and action. To start a video, you need to push the record button on the top once. Once it has started, you can take a picture out of this video, and we can mark this section of the video. And if you would like to pause the video and continue at a different place, you can use the pause button right here. Really cool. Now I can move to a different place and I can start to record once again. And you don't need to put these clips later on in post together. The camera does it internally. And now we come to the best part. I can stop the video right now. Now it was saved, and that's why I said a fast memory card is essential in order to continue your work faster. If I slide from the left to the right, you can see all the clips that we've been taken together. There was the photo that we just took out of the video. If I want to delete some clips, I can simply mark them. I can mark them as my favorite. I can send them to my phone, or I can delete them from the micro SD card. So let's say this video is not done yet and we want to continue the video on the next day. Awesome feature. Just use this icon right here, press continue, and now the camera uses the video that you've been saved on that camera already, and we can start to record at a different place and you don't need to put these clips together. Awesome feature. You can also use this button to stop the video. If I swipe from the right to the left, we have a sub-menu inside every menu. Here we can choose a variety of different filters for our video. Awesome, because it's right then on top of your video with an awesome look. We can use the exposure compensation. So anytime you think the video is slightly overexposed, you go into minus. And if you think the video is always a bit underexposed, you go into plus. Then there is a full manual mode where you can also set the filters. You can set different parameters such as the shutter speed, and the ISO goes up to 6400. We have also full menu control over the white balance, but I leave that in auto for now. To change the resolution and the frame rate, I slide from the bottom to the top, or I press on this icon right here, so I can enable HDR, disable it. I can use the stabilization feature. Here you can see some examples of how it looks like if I turn off the stabilization, how it looks like at standard and high, and so on. Here's one way to change the resolution. 1080p gives me a maximum of 240 frames per second, 2.7K maximum 120 frames per second, 4K maximum 60 frames per second, and the camera warns you that it gets hot quite quick. The normal way I record my videos will be in 4K 25. If you live in the States, it would be probably 4K 30 or 60 frames per second. But since we're here on Paul, I use 4K 25 or 50. Down here you can set the ratio. Now it's been set to 16:9, 4:3, or 2.35:1, which is widescreen. If I use the center part of the screen, I can swipe between the individual modes. So let's say we would like to take a slow motion video. That's possible with up to 2.7K 120 frames per second. I can also go to 1080p and set 240 frames per second. Feature here on this camera, which allows me to take a video, let's say in 4K, 30 frames per second. And if you scroll down, there's the loop duration, so the video does not get longer than 5 minutes. Then there are all the other features like time-lapse videos. So at the moment we would record a time-lapse in 4K. That's the resolution. The frame rate is unfortunately fixed to 30 frames per second. And the interval is set to 2 minutes. I can also choose a shorter interval, let's say 5 seconds, that I would use for moving clouds or sunrise, sunset. And regarding the shooting length, I would leave it as infinity, because you can stop the video at any time by pushing the power button. Then there is FreeFrame video, which shows you these lines. Really important. Because if you're not sure whether you would like to use the video later on for YouTube or TikTok, Instagram or YouTube Shorts, you can already see the important part of your video and how you should set the camera. If you would like to disable the lines, you can use this icon right here, the maximum resolution 4K 30 frames per second. Let's say you would like to save some settings. In order to have a quick access to them, you press on this icon right here and then you select preset. Let's say anytime you want to go biking, you would like to record in video mode 4K with 60 frames per second, and you would like to use a high stabilization feature, then these kind of things are already saved for you and you just need to press on this icon and you don't need to mess around with all the other settings right here because it's already now saved as a preset for you. TimeShift, that is a stabilized video where the camera does not record any audio and it's played back at a much faster speed. Then you get this center mark, and if you keep that centered on a specific spot while you're walking to a church, for instance, the camera accelerates the video, it stabilizes the video, and you can revert to the true speed at any time by pushing on this icon right here. And now you can record with audio at normal speed in 4K 30 frames per second. Unfortunately, 30 frames per second is fixed and we cannot use 25, 50 or 60 frames per second in this mode. Recording myself here in Cologne, western part of Germany, in 4K 25 in HDR because we have a lot of shadows here and a lot of light, and that is the internal microphone of this camera here, recording myself in dewarp mode. To jump into your settings, swipe from the top to the bottom. Then you have a rotation lock, so all the icons stay where they are. Then you get an indication light, which is this one here. You can set it to high, medium, low, or you can also turn it off. Really important if your camera is set behind a window and you would like to take a time-lapse video, for instance. It is important that you don't see the flashing LED all the time. That's one occasion where I would switch it off. Then in this case, I leave it in medium at the moment. You have these signal tones which are set to medium at the moment. Here you can set the brightness from your screen in order to save some battery. You get the settings right here. So you get the firmware, general, SD. To format the SD card, simply push on this button here. Caution, your files may be deleted. Video encoding, H.264. You can also go to 265. And then set the bitrate to high. That's what I would use. Anti-flicker, you can also go and set it to 50 or 60 Hertz. In this case, I left it in auto. You can change the language, date, and really important, Apple Find Me. You can connect it now to the Find Me app on your iPhone. And if you lost your camera and it still has some power, you can track where you lost the camera. And you can also send out a beep tone to find your camera. Down here you can do a factory reset or reset all the tutorials. This feature here, QuickCapture, is on. QuickCapture, really important for me. I tell the camera what it should do when I push the power button. So the usual way to turn on and off the camera is using this button here on the side, the power button. I will turn off the camera now to show you what this mode does. Let's say you see something on the street, you don't have time to switch on the camera to jump into the video mode because you were previously in the photo mode. You just want to take a video instantly. Push the trigger button for 2 seconds. The camera turns on now and starts to record a video immediately. I can stop the video by pushing the trigger button once again, and the camera saves that video and shuts off. If you want to avoid that the camera shuts off, simply push on the screen once. You can set what it should do if you push on this power button here. So you can say, for instance, use the last shooting mode we're in. So if you're primarily taking pictures instead of videos, you can also tell the camera, take only a picture if I push on this button here and don't start with a video, for instance. But I can also tell the camera to shoot a PureVideo, a FreeFrame video, a TimeShift, a Timelapse, or a Starlapse, for instance. And you can do this by shoot using the specific mode or shoot using the current mode. So if you're in photo mode, it will take a photo by pushing this button right here. Pre-recording mode, it takes some more battery, by the way. You can set it to 10, 15, or 30 seconds. And I guess it's self-explained. So if I push this button right here, it starts already to take a 30-second clip. And only by pushing the trigger button, it already starts to record. And now it has previously taken some seconds before we actually hit the trigger button. And now it continues to record a video for 30 seconds. So you have the 30 seconds before pushing the trigger button already recorded, if that is important to you. Then there is this interval video. That's a new feature here on this camera, where the camera takes at certain interval some videos, and you can set this later on these kind of clips together inside the app. You can try it out by yourself. Then there is an AI highlight assistant, which I haven't used so far. You can enable a grid, the level indicator, you can see this right here, and time capture, really cool feature, by the way, if you want to sleep during the night and don't want to push a trigger button in order to take a Starlapse video, for instance, because for these kind of things, time capture, really important feature. So let's say you sleep in your tent in the Rocky Mountains, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, you don't want to get wake in order to take a TimeShift video, Starlapse video. Let's say you go on Starlapse, you can set the shooting parameters, so camera, tonight at 3 o'clock, please make a Starlapse for me at 10 seconds shutter speed, ISO 2000, and that's it. The camera turns on automatically at 3 o'clock in the morning and does whatever you told the camera to do. If you have a big show going on and you want to have that recorded and you don't have anyone who can record that from you, let's say at 11 o'clock, you can tell the camera, please camera, at 11 o'clock, take a video of myself in 4K with 50 frames per second. Add this filter here, please. Then you turn off the camera and the camera turns on tomorrow at 11 o'clock and takes a video of your show, for instance. So you don't need to have someone recording something of you at a specific time. You have now the audio settings. You have multiple settings right here. I will show you now some clips with the individual modes. And really important, you can also use a gain adjustment for external microphones or for a Bluetooth microphone. Finally, we can connect external microphones to the Go Ultra. That is now the internal microphone of your brand new Insta360 GO Ultra. I'm recording myself down here at the Rhine River and it's quite windy. So here's the Insta360 GO Ultra. I'm down here at the Rhine River, and that is the voice enhancement feature of this camera. Once again recording myself here with the Insta360 GO Ultra, and I'm using now the weak wind noise cancelling feature here on this camera. So I hope you enjoy watching this video so far. You can actively support my channel by getting the camera using the link provided in the video description below, or this cool power bank here with 2 USB-C cables included that I use many times when I take this camera out for a longer time-lapse video. So it powers this camera here for more than 20 hours at the same time. I can charge my phone with the included USB-C cable, and I can charge my drone or my MacBook using the other 2 ports. Link in the video description. Now let's continue with the video. Voice control, gesture control, cool feature. That's been now for the Insta360 cameras already for the last 2.5 years, I guess. So if you raise your hands and you raise 5 fingers, you can start to record a video or stop that video. There's also a photo gesture, so if you raise 2 fingers, the camera automatically detects that and takes a photo of yourself while the camera is set on a tripod, for instance. Bluetooth, here you can, for instance, connect the Insta360 mini remote which is set at the moment on my pole stand. This pole stand is really cool because it gives you an extension for your arm. It does include a tripod on the underside. You can place the mini remote at your thumb in order to start a video, stop a video, take a picture, or do something else. And you can also use it for time lapses. And inside this menu, I connected the Insta360 Mic Air. Now I will show you some features inside the free Insta360 app. Make sure to turn on Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. The app is for free and the connection between the app and the camera is for free as well. That's the app. You might need to sign in for an account, which is new at Insta360. However, it's for free, so you can use it. If you tap on this icon right here, I can recommend, in case you see it, to turn on the watermark for photo and video. If you don't like to see that, you can do this by using these icons right here. I will switch now to English. Now the app is set to English. I will skip this here. Down here at album, you can see all the clips we've been taken already together. So yesterday I was in Cologne for you. I took several clips, photos and videos, like tons of stuff you saw already here in this video. Let's say I don't need these couple pictures or videos. I can enable the mark section. I can delete them from the storage of my phone. I can download them to my phone. I can mark them as my favorite, or I can export them. Let's say I want to delete them from the storage of the microSD card, and there we go. Here's a video that I took yesterday with an external microphone in 4K HDR. I can edit the clip by using these icons right here. I can take a screenshot out of this clip. I can trim this clip if I want to, and I can export this clip now to the storage of my phone by using this icon right here. Export to phone, or you can make a default setting by using select quality. So now I would be able to export that in 4K, 1080p, 720p, 1440p. Let's say I would like to stick with 4K. I can set a higher bitrate in order to have a better video quality, and then I can export it to the phone and I can share it then with friends via WhatsApp, Telegram, YouTube, and so on. If I push on this icon right here, I jump into the video mode of my camera. At the moment, the camera is right here. It leaks a little bit there's a little leak of about a second or so. In order to start a video, use this button right here, and the camera starts to record a video instantly. I can take a photo now, that's being saved now as a JPEG. I can pause the video and continue at a different place, and I can also stop this video. And now it's been saved to the microSD card of the camera. To have quick access of the videos that we took together, you need to press on this icon right here. Up here you get several filters, really cool. You should use them and try them out by yourself. Some of them are more useful and you have more of them later on inside the editing app here. Here are the field of views. You can also set the stabilization to off. Low, standard, and high gives you a higher crop factor as well, so it crops in order to stabilize the footage even further. I can use standard as well. That's like the preferred mode I use all the time. Here are the different field of views. You can set a 45-degree horizon lock, so anytime you fly a turn, for instance, with your small plane, and you have placed this camera with a suction cup inside the window of your airplane, the camera will lock the horizon. If you walk and you get some vibrations and horizontal movements in between, you can set also a 360-degree horizon lock, so the camera keeps the footage steady. In this case, I would go for Mega View. Up here you can change the resolution and the frame rate. HDR recording is only possible up to 30 frames per second and not 48, 50 or 60 frames per second. The more frames per second you use, the more fluent your video looks like. But if you just want to explain something to your audience, 4K, 25 or 30 frames per second are totally sufficient. HDR is high dynamic range, so if you have a lot of light and a lot of shadows inside your video and you would like to get kind of this equal contrast, Then it's time to use an HDR mode. You can see some examples right now. Right down here is the ratio. So 4:3 is the entire sensor, 16:9, the typical landscape format, and 2:3:5:1 is the typical widescreen mode that you can record in. Up here, you can use a horizontal grid. You can see these lines now. There's a histogram, and you can also enable the GPS. Down here, you can set, for instance, a manual exposure for your video. So if you want to take a video at a fixed shutter speed, you can do this right here. Then there's the auto mode with exposure compensation. So anytime you have the impression that your video is slightly overexposed, go into the minus region. Anytime you think your video is underexposed, go into the plus region. Then we're in photo mode. Up here you can use the filters, you can change the field of view, 50 megapixel maximum resolution here on this camera. If you go in a 9:16 format, it will go down to 37 megapixels. If you want to record a live photo that you might been used to if you're an iPhone shooter, the resolution goes down to 12.5 megapixels, which is still 4K. And if I use 50 megapixels, I can shoot in RAW and pure shot as well. And later on, you can do a lot of editing inside the Insta360 app. With the remaining capacity of my SD card in the current mode, shooting at 50 megapixels, 4:3 format, I can take another 2,792 photos. You can also set a timer for your photos. If you use the slider right here, let's say 5 seconds is sufficient to move a little further away from the camera while it's being set on a tripod, and then the camera takes a photo of you. It takes a lot of time to save this photo because we're using now 50 megapixels, and that's why I said get at least a V60 card in order to continue your work. Otherwise the camera needs a lot of time to buffer your stuff onto the memory card. I've never used that feature, to be honest. You can set a timer for the interval, and you can also set a duration here up to 4 hours or no limit for the photos. Maximum resolution here, also 50 megapixels. Then there is this burst mode. If you tap on here, you can see the number of shots. So this means 30 photos in 1 second. That's 30 photos in 10 seconds. And the maximum resolution will be 12.5 megapixels. At a Starlapse video, I can recommend to do this anywhere where you don't have too much light pollution. For instance, in the Rocky Mountains, in the Alps, or wherever you are. And then the camera takes a wonderful video of the night sky. You have also access to all the features that this camera has if you press on these 3 bars down here. So another cool feature is FreeFrame, which I showed you previously already here on this camera, where you see the lines and you can always see what will be in my frame if I shoot now a vertical or horizontal video. Timelapse mode is actually the mode that I use quite often with the manual mode, because I can set a fixed white balance, I can set a fixed shutter speed, and I can set a fixed ISO value for whatever I'm doing. For instance, taking a nice time lapse of the rising sun, the setting sun, or for instance, when I have moving clouds. Really important is the interval duration. So anytime you do something that happens really quick, take a short interval. Anytime you do something that takes a lot of time, take a long interval. You can set a duration for that clip, and the camera takes these clips or these photos together and puts them already into a final time-lapse video. So you don't need to do anything in post. And as I said, TimeShift is a nice feature. It's basically a video. You start that video and the camera accelerates that video later on in post, but there is no post editing required for this. And you can revert to the true speed by using this icon right here. And now the camera records at the normal speed with audio. Slow motion, self-explained, maximum resolution here 2.7K with up to 120 frames per second, or in 1080p with up to 240 frames per second. Really important when you take a slow motion video, make sure you have a lot of ambient light available. Then you get loop recording. a feature that is useful, for instance, if you do extreme sport and you don't want to have a video of a length of 1 hour because the stunt that you're trying to do was successful at 47 minutes, then you can limit the recording length of that clip to, let's say, 5 minutes. PureVideo is the low light mode of this camera. So anytime you're shooting in low light, the frames per second are being restricted to a maximum of 30 frames per second in order to expose the video longer to get better results while shooting in low light. So I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. If you do have any open questions, please make sure to leave a comment below. If you think that this video was a true value for you, make sure to get this camera or the accessories I used using the link provided in the video description below. Make sure to subscribe not to miss any upcoming Insta360 videos, and make sure to give this video a like in order to push the algorithm. Thank you very much. See you next time here on the Daniel Live. All the best from Cologne. Ciao, ciao.